My wife's family tried to humiliate me at dinner, so I exposed the truth calmly. They invited me like everything was normal. My wife's parents hosted these big Sunday dinners every month. Her sisters came, their husbands came, sometimes cousins, sometimes friends. It was always loud, always crowded, always slightly uncomfortable for me. But that night felt strange the moment I walked in. Everyone was already seated, like they'd been waiting. My father-in-law raised his glass the second I sat down. "I think it's time we talk about responsibility," he said with a tight smile. My wife looked down at her plate and didn't say a word. Her older sister laughed. "Yeah, responsibility, especially financial responsibility." Then her brother-in-law added, "Must be nice living off someone else's success." The table went quiet except for silverware tapping plates. I knew exactly what they meant. 3 months earlier, my wife got a major promotion. Her salary nearly doubled overnight. Around the same time, I left my corporate job to start a consulting business that hadn't made much yet. To them, that meant one thing. I was the husband living off their daughter. My father-in-law leaned back. "In our family," he said loudly, "the men take care of their wives." A few people chuckled. My wife still didn't look up. I took a sip of water. Then I reached into my jacket and placed a thin envelope on the table. "Before we keep going," I said calmly, "you should probably see this." My father-in-law frowned and opened it. Inside were printed bank transfers. At first, he didn't react. Then his expression changed. He flipped through the pages faster. My sister-in-law leaned closer. "What is that?" she asked. He didn't answer, so I did. "Over the last 4 years," I said quietly, "I've transferred about $14,000 to help cover your mortgage." The table froze. No one spoke. "I also paid off the $38,000 loan from the restaurant that failed," I continued, "and the credit card debt that was about to go to collections." My brother-in-law looked at my father-in-law. "You told us that was handled." "It was," I said. "I handled it." My father-in-law's face turned red. I kept my voice calm. "The only reason none of you knew is because your daughter asked me not to say anything. She didn't want you to feel embarrassed." Everyone slowly turned to look at my wife. She finally lifted her head. "It's true," she said quietly. The room felt smaller after that. I leaned back in my chair. "I didn't bring this up to argue," I added, "but if we're going to talk about responsibility, we should probably talk about all of it." No one laughed anymore. No one mentioned my income again. Dinner continued in silence. Later that night when we got home, my wife sat on the couch for a long time without speaking. Then she looked at me and said softly, "I didn't realize how much you protected them." I shook my head. "I wasn't protecting them," I said. "I was protecting you." And for the first time that night, she smiled.